You know, in the world of gorgeous gemstones, there's one cut that just screams sophistication and architectural beauty, the emerald cut. But here's the question. When you put a moissanite and a diamond in that exact same setting, which one really comes out on top? Well, today, we're going to break it all down, a head-to-head comparison between modern fire and timeless brilliance.
See, the emerald cut is totally unique. It's not trying to hit you with 1,000 tiny sparkles. Instead, its long, clean lines act like this big, beautiful window, revealing the true character and quality of the gem inside. So the choice between moissanite and diamond, it's not just about sparkle. It's about what kind of beauty you want to see looking back at you through that window.
Okay, so let's start with the most obvious difference, right? The look. When light hits an emerald-cut stone, what do you actually see? Well, the answer is fascinatingly different for moissanite and diamond, and this is really where the decision-making process kicks off.
So here's the bottom line. Moissanite is basically a fireworks show. It sucks in light and just explodes it back out in this dazzling rainbow of colors. A diamond, on the other hand, it gives you a clean, crisp, bright white flash. You can think of it like a disco ball versus a perfectly brilliant icicle. Both are stunning, just in very different ways.
And you might be wondering, okay, but why do they look so different? Well, the science behind it is actually pretty simple. This table shows the refractive index, which is just a fancy way of saying how much a gem bends light. Moissanite's number is higher, meaning it bends light way more dramatically, and that's what creates that signature rainbow fire. A diamond's index, on the other hand, is kind of perfectly calibrated for that classic, balanced white brilliance.
And this is exactly why the emerald cut is such a special case. It wasn't even designed for maximum sparkle, like, say, a round brilliant cut. Instead, those long, flat surfaces, we call them step cuts, create what's known as a hall of mirrors effect. It produces these dramatic, broad flashes of light. This is for someone who really prefers that bold, almost liquid-like flash over a scattered, glittery look.
And that's the thing about this cut's huge. Open table, it is brutally honest. I mean, there is absolutely nowhere for flaws to hide. Any little tint of color, any tiny internal inclusion is way more visible than it would be in a cut that's designed to mask those things with sparkle. So your choice of gem here really matters.
So, what does this mean for you? Well, if you are chasing that pure icy white look, you've got to pay close attention to the color grades. For diamonds, that means you're aiming for the top of the scale, the D to F range, which is considered totally colorless. With moissanite, you'll want to look for stones in that G-H range or better, just to make sure you avoid any subtle warmth, especially as you go up in size.
But hey, a beautiful stone is about way more than just its looks. It's something you live with every single day. So let's switch gears and talk about the practical side, strength. How are these two gems going to hold up over a lifetime of wear?
You've probably heard of the Mohs scale of hardness, and yeah, diamond is a perfect 10. It's literally the hardest naturally occurring mineral on planet Earth. Pretty much nothing can scratch it except another diamond. Moissanite, though, comes in at a very close second, around a 9.25. It is exceptionally hard and super durable for everyday wear.
This slide breaks it down perfectly. When it comes to scratch resistance, or hardness, diamond is simply the best. Nothing beats it. For toughness, which is how well it resists chipping or breaking, both are fantastic. But again, diamond has that slight edge. So, the key takeaway here? Both are amazing choices for an everyday ring, but diamond offers that absolute pinnacle of strength. And you know, their origin stories are different too. Diamonds are pure carbon, either formed deep within the earth over billions of years or replicated in a lab. Moissanite is made of silicon carbide, and while it was first discovered in a meteor crater, how cool is that? Virtually all the moissanite you can buy today is grown in a lab. This makes it a really strong choice for anyone who's prioritizing a lower environmental impact.
Of course, we cannot have this conversation without talking about the bottom line. For a lot of people, this is the deciding factor, so let's take a look at the cost and the whole idea of value for each of these stones.
This number right here, it basically says it all. A moissanite will typically cost a staggering 70 to 90% less than a natural diamond of the same size and comparable quality. I mean, that's not a small difference. That is a massive, game-changing difference that can completely alter the scale and style of ring you can get. So this brings us to the fundamental trade-off, right? With moissanite, you get a much larger and more fiery look for your budget. It's all about maximizing that immediate visual impact. Diamonds, on the other hand, carry centuries of tradition, market recognition, and what people often call a higher long-term perceived value, especially when it comes to resale. Okay, so we've looked at the sparkle, the durability, and the cost. After all that, how do you actually make the final call? Well, it really just comes down to what you personally value most in a stone. The case for moissanite is pretty clear. If your main goal is to get the biggest, most brilliant stone that your budget can handle, and you absolutely love that energetic rainbow sparkle, it's an incredible option. Then you add in the peace of mind that can come with a lab-grown gem, and it becomes a really compelling choice. Now, on the other side of the coin, the appeal of a diamond is just timeless. If you are drawn to that classic, understated, crisp white beauty, and you really value the tradition and market recognition that comes with it, then it's the undisputed champion. And of course, if having the absolute hardest, most scratch-resistant material matters to you, then diamond is your stone. So at the end of the day, that emerald cut is a mirror. The final question isn't just about the stone, it's about you. Are you drawn to the classic, cool, and timeless elegance of a diamond, or does the modern, fiery, and brilliant character of moissanite better reflect your personal style? The choice is all yours.